Ask a random foreigner what they think about Slovenia, and they probably won't be able to come up with much. Germany, on the other hand, is a completely different story. Everybody has something to say about Germany, and 90% of the time, whatever comes out of their mouths is absolutely false. Now, maybe they just don't know better, I get it, okay? One could possibly say that they're excusable, but after watching this video, you won't be. These are the 18 biggest lies about Germany. So the first one that I hear all the time is that there's no speed limit on the Autobahn. The first common misconception with this is that the magical Autobahn is one stretch of road somewhere in Germany, when in reality, Autobahn is the German word for highway, and the majority of the time, yes, there's a speed limit. There are certain areas with no speed limit, others have electronic signs that change throughout the day, but, and I hate to burst your bubble, there are speed limits. Lots of them. And they're obnoxious as heck too. I mean, sometimes they change like every kilometer, but at least they're changing from, 80 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour back to 80, 70 versus the US where it's like, after driving 10 miles at 50 miles an hour, you can now drive 55 miles an hour. Yay. So I suppose I can just deal with it here in Germany. All right, next one that ticks me off is the people who are all like, the only thing you can do in Germany is go to OKTOBERFEST. Really? Really? There are fests all the time, suiting all kinds of various interests. Not too long ago here in Stuttgart, there was a guitar fest. Although, the one thing they all have in common is the bountiful supply of beer. Which leads me to number 3, all Germans drink is beer. They do drink a lot of beer, but you might be surprised to know that every year, bottled water outsells beer by a long shot. There you have it. There are also people who say all they eat is potatoes. Also couldn't be farther from the truth. I mean, they do eat a lot of potatoes. But you would too if you lived in the country with the best potatoes in the world. Deal with it. I apologize, I shouldn't have gotten off the topic of beer because I have 2 more misconceptions concerning it. Firstly, a lot of people think that there's no drinking age here. This comes mostly from people who were serving in the military here back in the 70s or the 80s, when it would not be at all uncommon to go to a fest and see like a 10-year-old with a Mass. A Mass is a liter stein of beer for all you uncultured swine out there. And I've even heard people say that Germans drink their beer warm. What? You show me a German who likes his beer warm, and I will show you a seahorse winning the Kentucky Derby. Not even sure where this one comes from. One more thing, I apologize. One more misconception about beer. This whole, beer purity law thing, the law that supposedly limits the ingredients in beer for it to be considered beer, yeah, that's a farce. I had my feelings deeply hurt when I found this out. Shout out to Ruboss for shedding light on this topic. I'll post his video in the description and you can, click on it somewhere here too, but it hurt. It took away some of my national pride in Germany. I seriously thought there was a law in effect that said beer could only have water, barley, and hops. I thought that was cool, and then I took a serious blow to the guts, which is partly why I'm making this video for idiots like me. This next one is one of the stupidest and most aggravating, and that is that some people seem to think that Germans have no sense of humor. Let me tell you something. The Big Bang Theory and Family Guy are 2 of the most popular shows on television here. They're also major fans of Mr. Bean. Along those same lines, some people seem to think that they're cold and antisocial. They do perhaps err on the more reserved side of things, but they are not at all cold or hostile or aggressive, in general anyway. And antisocial, are you kidding? We already talked about how many fests they have here. They'll basically come up with any reason to get together and party. In what world is that antisocial? Okay, I apologize. This is the stupidest one. It's not the most aggravating, because if anyone says it, they're just an idiot, and you can't be aggravated by idiots. Just don't. And this one is the people who think all Germans are Nazis. That's about as ridiculous, if not more so, than saying all Americans are members of the Ku Klux Klan. See what I'm saying? German sounds terrible. Now this one is aggravating because the people who say this, and one of my viewers I believe mentioned this, the people who say this I've pretty much only ever heard German because they watched Hitler's speeches. That would be kind of like using Arnold Schwarzenegger as a benchmark for how English sounds. Another common misconception is that the Holocaust is a taboo subject, and this could not be farther from the truth either. I swear there is an article concerning World War II in the weekly newspaper every week. And that's for our little town. No, it's not taboo to talk about it, as long as you're, being respectful and not, if you're being a respectful human being, it's a completely open subject. They wear LEDERHOSEN and DIRNDLS every day. This is one of my favorites because actually, coming to Germany, I thought they wouldn't wear them as much as they do. They do like to wear them whenever they can, but that's only, during particular fests. Okay, women don't shave their legs? What? I can't begin to wrap my mind around how you make that particular a generalization for 80 million people. Okay, this one's a big one. Universities in Germany are free. Now there is some truth to this. In a lot of places in Germany, there are universities that cost you zero. But most places in Germany will cost you, I believe, between 250 to 500 euros a semester. There is a legal limit of 500 euros a semester. They cannot charge more than that. However, it is a little bit different because when you get a full ride at a college in the United States, that typically includes room and board. So 21 meals a week and a place to stay all semester. That's not the case in Germany, at least all the places I know of. You have to go out there and rent an apartment and buy food. So that can run your tuition costs up 1,000 euros a month. Definitely something to consider. Not to mention that in the German society, you'll be paying 50% taxes for the rest of your life, which should more than cover your tuition costs. I just ticked some people off real bad, I know. Another thing to know is that just because they're free does not mean they're at all easy to get into, especially for foreigners like me, but that's probably a topic for a video of its own. On the other hand, another rumor that goes around is that German universities aren't reputable. I have no idea where this comes from, especially since statistically, most German universities stack up pretty well against America's Ivy League universities. Germans are loud. This I just don't get. Clearly anyone who says this has never been to Germany and then sat down in a restaurant where there are Germans and Americans. Americans are so much louder. Now I'm used to it, I don't mind, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but when you compare the two, the winner is clear. It's up to you to decide who the winner is, but you get what I'm saying. And last but not least, this one, I love this. Us Americans made a cookie, okay? And we gave it to the Chinese, and the Chinese said they didn't want it. And then we said, well, too bad, it's now part of your cultural heritage. It's now known as a fortune cookie. And we did the same thing to the Germans with the Christmas pickle. If you're American, you might know what I'm talking about. If you're German, you have absolutely no idea. Many households in the United States have a practice in which an ornamental pickle is put inside the Christmas tree somewhere. It's hidden. And then the first kid who finds the pickle gets an extra present or something. Now the best part is, just about anyone who does this would tell you that it is an age-old German tradition. When I don't think there's a German on the face of Germany who has any clue what the Christmas pickle is. It's not German. I don't know where it came from. Nobody does. It's a mystery. The mystery of the Christmas pickle. Sounds like a Hardy Boys book. A really bad one. Alright guys, I better let you go. My batteries have died on me like 3 times now. I just pop them out, stick them in the charger, and put them back in. So I need to wrap this up, plus I'm late for dinner. Thankfully dinner's downstairs, not like out to eat somewhere. But I hope you enjoyed this. You done been edumacated. There's no excuse for ignorance anymore, folks. You've got the internet. Use it wisely. Alright, I'll see you soon. Sam out.